Alright, so now we're going to work on the About section of the profile. So this is the actual Bootstrap theme. Okay, we just did the profile header. Now I'm going to grab the markup for the About, which is this row here. As you can see, I tried to make it in nice little sections that if you wanted to, you could just copy. I know that sometimes we're typing it out, but sometimes we can easily copy it as well. So we're going to go into Profile About, and let's just paste it in here like that. Okay, now for the profile About, we need to pass in the profile as a property. So from the profile component, let's do the same thing we did with the header. We're just going to pass it in like that. All right, so we'll save that. We'll go back to the About, and in the About, we're going to need prop types, and we're also going to want the isEmpty. Okay. And let's see, let's destructure from the props. We're going to take out the profile that we passed in. Whoops, this should this should be in the render. All right. So let's see. You notice how it says John's bio, right? It doesn't say the last name. So what I'm going to do is we're going to use a couple of JavaScript methods to get just the last name, because if we profile.user.name contains the first and last name. So right here I'm going to say, let's put in a comment, we'll say get first name, and we'll say const first name equals profile.user.name, which is the whole name. Then we want to trim any spaces or anything like that, and then split. We want to split from the space in the middle. So, you know, Brad space Traversy, John space Doe, and then that's going to turn it into an array. Okay, which will put the first name in the first value, the second name in the second value. We want the first name, so that'll be the 0 index of the array, right? So then what we'll do is go down here and just replace this with first name. Okay, so that should take care of that. Next thing, let's see, the bio. This is the bio right here. So we just want it to check with isEmpty, because it's not required. So we want to say isEmpty profile.bio, then null, else, then let's do span profile.bio. All right, now for the skill set. The skills it's actually an array. So what we're going to do here is map through that. So let's go right below where we did the first name, and let's say skill list. So we'll say const skills is equal to profile.skills, and that's an array. We want to map through it. Okay, and we can get the skill and index, and then what we want to map it to is we want to use a div. For the key, we're going to use the index, and then we'll add a class name of p-3. Close that div, and inside here will be the check icon, which is fa-check. I want this to be self-closing, and then we'll put the skill like that. All right, so then all we have to do now is go down here, and inside this div with the deflex and all that, we can get rid of all this because we have all of this now inside of skills. Okay, we loop through, and for each one we created a div, and that should display. So let's save this, and let's go back. Let's click on Brad's profile, and there we go. Brad's bio, just the first name, has the bio and has the skill set. Okay, this is all coming from MongoDB, everything. If we go to John's, John doesn't have a bio, so what I'd rather do here actually is, instead of displaying null if he doesn't have one, I'm going to display, I'm going to put a span and let's say we'll take his first name and we'll say does not have a bio. Alright, let's see if that works. And there we go. John does not have a bio. Cool. So that's the about. So now let's do the credentials. So we're going to go back. Whoops, that's not it. We're going to go back here, and the profile about is now done, so we can close that up. And profile creds is going to take in education as a property, which we can get with profile.education, and then it can also take experience, which we'll get from profile.experience. Okay, I'd rather pass them in as separate properties than pass in the whole profile, because this is all we need, is these two things. So let's save that, and let's go to profile creds. And again, we're going to be using moment, so let's bring that in for the dates. React moment. Alright, now in the render, let's do some destructuring, and let's take out the experience and the education from the props. And then what we have to do is map through the experience items and the education items. So let's see. Yeah, let's do that. So we'll create a variable right here, exp items. Set that to the experience property. We want to map through it. And we'll say exp for each one, and we'll set that to an li, give it a key. Each experience has its own key, so we're going to use exp._id, give it a class name of list group item, because it's going to be a bootstrap list group that this is in. Alright, and then inside here, let's put an h4, and we'll put the company, so exp.company. Inside this paragraph, we're going to have our dates, so we're going to use moment. We'll say format will be year, month, day. Okay, so this will be the from. Alright, and then we're going to do dash, and then let's do our conditional exp.to. If it's equal to null, then we want it to display space now. Okay, else then we want it to display the moment with the date. So we'll just copy this one, put that in there, change this to 2. Okay, just like we did on the dashboard. Alright, now underneath that paragraph, let's put in another one. This is going to be the position. Let's actually wrap this in strong tags. Okay, so this will be exp.title. And let's see, we're going to have another paragraph which will have the location, but the location isn't required, so we're going to say if exp.location is equal to nothing, then we'll return null, else let's do a span. Let's do a span with a strong tag, and we'll say location, and then the exp.location. Alright, then we want the description, so we're going to do another paragraph. And we're going to do the same thing we did here. I'm just going to copy this, except we're going to say exp.description. Alright, if that's equal to nothing, then it'll be null. If not, then let's say description. Oops. Description, and it'll be exp.description. Alright, so that should be it for the exp items. Now let's do the education items. So I'm going to copy this whole thing we just did and paste that in, and this will be edu items. Okay, so we want to map through the education property. So education.map, and for each one it'll be edu. So it'll be edu ID for the key. We don't have a company, it's going to be the school, so it's going to be edu.school as the heading. And then for the years, we're going to say edu here. Basically just going to replace all the exp with edu. Alright, and then we don't have a position, we have a degree. Like that. And then let's see, we have a field of study. Field of study is required, so we don't have to do a check. So I'll just grab this, what we have here, and we'll say field of study. Change it to field of study. Alright, and then the description. Just make sure we change the exp there and there, and we should be all set as far as the items go. Alright, now down here in the return, we're going to, let's see, this is going to have a class name of row, and we're going to have two 6-column divs. Alright, so for this one, let's put an H3. We're going to have a class of text center and also text-info, which will make it a greenish bluish, and this will be experience. Alright, underneath that, we want to put we want to test to see if there are any experience items, so we'll take exp items that we created above and say if the length is greater than 0, then we want to put in a UL with the class name of list group, bootstrap class, UL, and in the UL is where we're going to put the exp items. Okay, because remember, it's their list item, their LIs. Okay, so we'll do that. Now we want to do an else here. So we want to put a colon, and then if there isn't any, then we're just going to put a paragraph with the class of text center, And we're just going to put in here no experience listed. All right, so that should work. Now I'm going to copy this 6-column div, paste it in here, and this one will be education. Okay, we just want to change this to edu items and test those. If there are any, then we'll display them here, edu items. If not, we'll say no education listed. And that's it. Let's save it. Let's give it a shot. And there we go. Edusoft and Salem State for education. Looks like description's not showing up. Did we not put, maybe we didn't put a description. Let's look at the Brad profile. Hold on a second here. Description, edu description. I misspelled description here. Okay, so there's our description for that. And I didn't have a description for education. Why is it showing up? If it's equal to null, I mean, yeah, if it's equal to nothing, it's going to be null. Let's see, did John Doe actually have a description for his education? We can easily look in the state under profile, education, and right here. Okay, great CS program. So he did have a description, so it should be showing. Oh, I had that misspelled too. There we go. All right, so that's all set. The about and the credentials are all set. So in the next video, the final thing we have to do is the GitHub. We have to make a request to the GitHub API to get the repositories and display them.